Let's go.
Yeah. 3-6, mafia.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, yeah. Whoa.
Say what?
Whoa.
3-6 Mafia. It's going down. Y'all know what time it is. We ain't playing with you. In the club, in the street.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of No B.S. Season 4, Episode 3. Great to have you all here tonight on tonight's glorious program. I know we need to find probably a new intro to this song. We're in 4 seasons deep and still have the same opening theme song. So if you have any suggestions on what kind of song we should put as our opening theme, feel free to send it our way and we'll review it and we'll see if it will make its final cut as the new No B.S. theme song. But before we get underway, I'll go around the horn and see how our gentlemen are doing tonight. So, Isaiah, how are you doing on this fine evening?
I'm doing great. Finally get my first day off after 6 straight days of work. It feels great. I slept till like 2:30 p.m. today. Slept for a great 11 hours. It was amazing. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling recovered. I'm feeling recuperated. And I'm just feeling so much more energized than I did last night when I couldn't even get out of my chair. I spent 30 minutes trying to get out of my chair that I was sitting at the airport because that's how damn tired I was. But I'm feeling great. I'm ready to do this program. Today marks the official 1 month since I started working at Hudson at the airport. I want to thank, the guys for giving me an opportunity, giving me a shot, and all my coworkers for being such, great teachers and being such great mentors and helping me through this journey. But 1 month down, we'll see how many more months to go. But it's great to be on the program tonight. I'm rocking the Stenson Bennett shirt because he's back, baby. We're running it back 1 more year. Back-to-back champs upcoming. Let's go.
And John Alcorn, how are you doing tonight, my good sir?
First of all, I'm curious, though, because I've seen an 85-year-old man that is half blind that is able to get up faster from the chair. So I'm kind of curious why it took so long. But, no, it's good to be on the program. And, Isaiah, you can no longer wear that hoodie on the program, but it'll be a good show. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's a great way to segue into tonight's program with, Stetson Bennett coming back to University of Georgia. We're going to start with the college football topic with Georgia's former quarterback and JT Daniels has entered the transfer portal, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of shocking news for him. I guess it's the best way for him to leave. But the question is, ladies and gentlemen, where does he go? At what point does JT Daniels, what team needs this type of quarterback in their system? I know we lost Isaiah. When we get him back, we'll ask him the same question. But John, JT Daniels, where will he go?
I think if Caleb Williams goes to USC, I don't think there's a lot of options left. He's in a really terrible situation. He was a top recruit, I believe, in 2018, and then you had flip-flop between him and Stetson Bennett for the past season and a half. And so if I'm him, you can't really be that picky, so I can't really think of a team at the moment. But it's going to be tough for him. This is not 2018 or 2017. You're not going to be you're not the guy anymore for right now, and you're not looked at as much. So it's definitely going to be tough for him along the road.
And on top of that, just looking at the potential places, I could see him making his way. I guess 2 teams. If he stays in the SEC, I could see LSU and Brian Kelly, because I don't know if LSU has that true quarterback. So I could see him go there. But at the same time, does he want to stay in the SEC? Does he want to face Georgia? You got to figure out what's his motive. I would feel like if he would face Georgia, I would say go to Florida and have a chance to disrupt them to going back-to-back in the SEC championship game as well as the national title if you go to Florida. But if you go to LSU, you got to face A&M, Auburn, Alabama. It's a rigorous schedule, so it depends what you want. And then the other location I could see him going towards is Notre Dame. Independent, you go undefeated, you're in the college football playoffs without a question. Because I think that's what the committee has been doing for Notre Dame. It's like if they go undefeated, they're probably that fourth team getting in, unless there's more undefeated teams, then they would get left out because they don't got that conference championship and playing those tougher opponents. But those are the two schools I would say, LSU and Notre Dame. Isaiah, who do you think, where JT Daniels could go to have a good college career, and as him being a new quarterback for a new school?
Well, Trevor, John, my first reaction to seeing the news that JT Daniels, when he first got to Georgia, I was like, oh my God, man, hallelujah, thank the Lord, we got JT Daniels to be our quarterback. I saw this guy play at USC prior to injuries. He was hampered by Clay Helton and his absolutely rubbish offense that he ran at USC. You literally put any quarterback in that offense, their stats would go down. That's how pathetic that offense was. But when JT Daniels went to Georgia from USC, and I was so thrilled that he went to Georgia, because I was like, this is the one thing that Georgia has been missing the last several years, which was an elite quarterback, and they finally got it. No disrespect to Stetson Bennett or all the other guys that they had. And even Jake Fromm, JT Daniels, 5-star quarterback, excellent arm, doesn't have the best mobility in the world, but he's got an excellent arm, excellent vision, excellent IQ, all of that stuff. And I thought that when he came to Georgia that he was just going to come in and completely transform the Georgia Bulldogs football program and lead us to a national championship. We did win the national championship while he was there, but he was hurt. And that's like the biggest thing about him throughout his career has been injuries. You can see the talent. He's very, very talented, but can he stay healthy? That's the big question. He couldn't stay healthy at USC. That's why Keaton Slovis beat him out. JT tore his ACL, I believe, in his second year at USC. He transfers to Georgia. And then he has to recover from the ACL. That takes a year off. This year was supposed to be his year, but then he had the oblique injury. He had the lat injury. And then by the time he comes back, Stetson Bennett is red hot. You're obviously not going to take the job from him. And, you guys know what happened. Bennett leads Georgia to the national championship. So when I saw that JT Daniels was leaving Georgia yesterday and entering the transfer portal, I nearly broke down in tears, to tell you the truth. I really nearly broke down, because I was like, man, like I was telling Trevor, and I think John was probably in that group chat, and Steven and Shree as well. This was supposed to be the decade of the Dogs. We were set up so perfectly for a repeat. Bennett goes to the NFL. The defense, yes, I know they're not like gonna be the historically great defense. There's a lot of players that are leaving. Fine, but you on the offensive side, JT Daniels replaces Stetson Bennett. That's a major upgrade at quarterback. The running backs are gonna, you're gonna have new running backs, but Bowers, Washington, all those guys are coming back. Like, it was supposed to be a setup for Georgia to repeat, and now all of it is gone because JT Daniels is, taking his talents elsewhere. So it's really sad as a Bulldogs fan just to see JT Daniels leave, because he was supposed to be the heir apparent and be the next great Georgia quarterback to step in and lead us to a repeat. And now I can't talk trash to Trevor and Steven anymore, because we don't know how the Dogs are going to be, because they're not going to have that great team around Mr. Stetson Bennett. But in terms of where JT Daniels should go, I like the places that you guys listed. If it depends where he wants, like what he wants. If he wants to be a high NFL draft pick, well, then you're probably going to have to go to the SEC. I say LSU is one, because I think they had 3 quarterbacks transfer out of their program. Brian Kelly typically likes veteran quarterbacks. He knows that with a 10-year, $90+ million contract, he needs to win right away. So JT Daniels would help that. Also, and JT Daniels has experience also playing in a pro-style offense. So Brian Kelly runs a pro-style offense. He would fit right in. I could also see Georgia Southern with Clay Helton, former coach at USC. He can go there and try to reignite his career. And then I'm looking at the other place. There's really not a lot of options because he's transferring really late. Like, there was just a whole bunch of quarterbacks that transferred, and now a lot of the spots that needed quarterbacks are filled. So I would say probably LSU. Notre Dame was one that I could definitely see. I'm trying to think off the
I
top of
think
my head.
Auburn would still be one because Bo Nix left. He transferred out of Auburn.
Yes, he did transfer out of Auburn, Trevor, but Zach Calzada, the Texas A&M transfer, he transferred to Auburn. So I don't know if like JT would want to, be in that situation where he's not guaranteed a starter spot and have to fight for the job. And maybe UCLA because he's from LA. He played at one of the LA high schools, and UCLA needs a quarterback. Chip Kelly, a coach in the NFL, knows what it takes to get guys into the NFL. It could work. He's got a quarterback-friendly system. He could put up big numbers and translate that to being a high NFL draft pick. So that's where I could see him going. Oh, and I'll also throw one more: Hawaii. If June Jones becomes the head coach at Hawaii, quarterback-friendly system. Look what all the quarterbacks that's played for June Jones has done. Timmy Chang, record-setting quarterback. Colt Brennan, record-setting quarterback. Every quarterback that's played in June Jones's run-and-shoot offense has put up amazing numbers. So if JT Daniels wants to, if he wants to be guaranteed a starter, if he wants to put up numbers and translate that into the NFL, Hawaii's your best spot because you would be the starter. You would put up great numbers.
But your competition's not great, though, Isaiah.
Well, that's true.
So,
But, I mean,
you're going to throw up big numbers. It's like playing on rookie mode.
It's like you're playing in the Big 12 where you can put up these Heisman performance numbers. But John, the defense is not there. You can see Heisman. Literally, Oklahoma had 3 potential Heisman Trophy winners.
You have to make a factual point that is correct. It just offends me, even though you're right. But
Oklahoma is putting up 3.
It's going to suck for him, like I said, Isaiah, because now this is not 2017, 2018. You're going to really have to take a good look in the mirror. And obviously, it's not completely his fault. Yep, you have injuries. So instead of Caleb Williams goes to – did he already go to a school? Because I know he transferred or he went to the transfer portal.
He hasn't picked one yet.
If he goes to USC, I don't know if you have a lot of options left for JT unless you want to go to a small school. Because even if he goes to a small school, lights it up, it's not going to turn him into a second and third round pick because they're always going to use that argument. You went to this small school, didn't have a lot of competition. You're not going to go to one of these big schools. So,
you're not going to go to the big school because you're going to have to compete. So, like, what do you like? There's really not that many options. If you transferred a couple weeks ago, you would have had more options. But a lot of the teams that needed quarterbacks, they already have their quarterbacks through the transfer portal.
That's why I say for lose-lose situation, you're going to kind of have to settle here. It's not going to be what it could have been in 2018. You win a championship and you get like the first, second round pick. Now you're going to be maybe drafted in the second round with Jake Fromm.
Yeah, it's going to be.
How about Ohio State?
He's not going to go. CJ Stroud is running the Buckeyes offense, and I don't think they're going to get rid of him anytime soon. So
yeah, I trust Captain CJ.
And plus, he was a Heisman Trophy finalist, so I don't think they're gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of a quarterback that didn't win a Heisman." I don't think that's Ohio State mentality. I think you're gonna keep a guy that got to the Heisman Trophies ceremony at least and ride it out because he's obviously gonna grow and mature, CJ. But at the same time, it's like his next step is to get to the Big Ten championship, and it's like he proved me, I can trust him in a game where he's trailing in the Rose Bowl and came back in winning fashion with, players opting out. Like Ohio State had 24 players opt out of that game, and he was able to come back and win it. So I don't think they're going to, give up on CJ anytime soon. But for JT Daniels, well, if he wants to, make Dabo Swinney happy, go to Clemson and see what you can do in, ACC. Or go to Florida State. They're trying to rebuild. So if you're trying to, turn some heads, ACC is wide open to cause some pandemonium and, slip into a college football playoffs, though you have to run the table to get in. But if you want good numbers and decent competition, ACC is not a bad route to go through.
Especially when their quarterback who they had, obviously, you say rebuild mode or not last year, played not like he's so-called starting quarterback, so that can give him some advantage versus going to some of these other schools.
Isaiah, I know you have a comment you want to add on to another school where he could end up going.
No.
I know you say. I know John doesn't like it, but I don't agree with it either. But we'll We'll
How
let the
about
fans
Michigan?
decide.
They have a freshman. That's the only quarterback that they've got right now. McNamara, I believe he's graduating. So
Isaiah, let's say here's the only thing: if Harbaugh goes to the Raiders, JT's not looking to build this rebuild team. He's looking to win right now to increase his draft stock. So if he goes to Las Vegas, you get a brand new head coach. You're going to have to rebuild, and by the time you get maybe something there, again like a little spark, he has to go to the NFL. So this is his last season. So they don't really have a lot of time to be, hey, we finally got it going, but you can't be a fifth-year senior. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation.
well, but here's the thing though, like with all the options dwindling, would you rather just take a rebuild situation in Michigan where you could put up the numbers, be the starting quarterback, or would you rather do that at like a smaller school in like let's say Hawaii or let's say like
I would say smaller.
because that's what I think his choices are going to come down to because there's just no options left where he's going to be the guaranteed starting quarterback.
If you're Michigan, though, even then they're going to look to recruit a quarterback. So even then, he's not really guaranteed. That's why I feel like it sucks for him. It goes back to, like I said, Trevor, about a lose-lose situation because this is not 2018 anymore. You're really going to have to weigh down your options, and frankly, you don't really have any. You got 99 options, and a starting job is one.
He's probably going to pick some middle of the pack school. He's going to probably pick like Missouri or something like that. Something is like you could go anywhere else, but you decided to go here where it's not, you don't even give yourself a chance to get to the college football playoffs unless some weird thing happens and your school sits in the top 10 for the whole season. And then the pandemonium happens in the last, 3 weeks. But I don't think that's the place to be, but at the same time, we've seen players go down that route and they sit in the middle of the pack and forever disappear off the face of the planet.
Oh, yeah.
But with that, gentlemen, I know we have a good college football topic as we always do on this show, but we'll hit the NFL up next with some, good topics that we got going on. So right now we have the traditional, I would say, before I leave college football, Kiersey Wilson has a good one. Maybe he can come to Montana State and play for the Bobcats and face North Dakota State and that bracket.
He could be like Trey Lance, FCS quarterback. Put up great numbers there, have a great season, gets drafted in the early first round.
We'll have to wait and see what his fate goes through. But with that, we'll go to the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. We got the good debate topic, I would say. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen in the next 5 years. Who you got and why? I'll go to Isaiah. Who you got on this one? Patrick Mahomes in the next 5 or Josh Allen in the next 5?
Wow. You're right, Trevor. That is a very, very tough conversation because both are very talented, both have very electric arms, both are very mobile, both can do like insane stuff. They're very young as well. Mahomes is only 26. I believe Josh Allen, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 24. So like both are just like super, super young quarterbacks that I think this rivalry between Allen and Mahomes is gonna be Manning Brady in our generation. That's how good these two quarterbacks are. Allen's actually 25, but man, for me, honestly, I would pick Josh Allen, and here's why. Because Josh Allen, both, like I said, both quarterbacks do like something similar, but I think that Josh Allen, I think he's got bit better mobility than Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes has he's able to make these spectacular, insane plays, like rolling across to the right and then throwing sidearm to the left. Like which quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes in the NFL can make that type of a throw? But we've seen it this season. I think this season has really exposed Patrick Mahomes that he doesn't have the best. He's not that good at going through his progressions. He can go through his progressions, don't get me wrong, but I'm wondering what would Mahomes' career be without Andy Reid drawing up all these plays, giving him wide open receivers left and right. Like we've seen it this season when the teams put their safeties, they take away Tyreek Hill, they take away Travis Kelce, they take away the big play, and Mahomes has to go to the smaller plays, the medium plays where he's got to fit that ball right into the small windows. Mahomes has struggled with that this season, and I'm not saying Josh Allen is perfect at that, but Josh Allen does that a little bit better than Patrick Mahomes, and I think that what we're going to keep seeing with the Chiefs is you're going to keep seeing defensive coordinators forget going after Mahomes with the blitz. You're going to just take away you're going to put your safeties back. You're going to put your linebackers back. You're going to have one spy in the middle to spy Mahomes when he comes to running the football. You're going to take away Tyreek Hill. You're going to take away Kelce. You're going to force Mahomes to try to go to Pringle or any one of those other receivers that can't really get separation. And I have a feeling we could see Mahomes struggling big time in the years to come. So for me, give me Josh Allen, but I think this is, very tough conversation because these two guys are, really talented, great arm, great. Allen's got a bit better mobility than Mahomes, but I'm only taking Allen just because I think Allen has a better vision of the field than Patrick Mahomes.
And John, who do you got? Do you trust Patrick Mahomes in the next 5 or Josh Allen to be the better quarterback in this debate we got going on?
I mean, if you put ketchup with your steak, I don't trust you. No, I'm kidding. I think when you look at the Chiefs, even number one financial side, Mahomes' contract, let's say he got drafted 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So now next year, his 10-year contract goes into effect, and I think that's going to affect a lot of free agents and potentially get a 1 to 2-year deals to Kelce to let him finish it off his career. Remember, he's in his early 30s. Tyreek Hill's in his late 20s, and as you saw when Larry Fitzgerald and other guys got older, they're not really the same player. So I think you're going to see that maybe potentially them. Maybe you're running the ball a little bit more because maybe you got Pringle, you got Hartman coming up on a new contract in the next 2 to 3 years. So if I answer that, I'm going to have to say Buffalo. I think even though Mahomes can be sometimes a little bit more accurate, sometimes Josh Allen replaces that with his physicality as a quarterback. So he's a runner and a passer. And I agree with James, though, and that's what Buffalo did last week. So I think with what they're doing, I still say Buffalo for right now, but I could be wrong.
I think it's going to come down to what supporting, players that each team gets over the next 5 years. But like you said, John, players leaving Kansas City because of the salary cap that they're going to run into. And what that means, Buffalo can go and snag those players and kind of flip the script and give Buffalo even more firepower. Though they already have a decent squad and they're already making deep runs in the playoffs with what they got. Just imagine they could get other free agent players to do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did and just load up on their team, both defense and offensive wise. And you're already in Buffalo and it's cold and you can basically make all the games run through Buffalo. And if you face a lot of teams that are warm weathered, like, the up and coming Chargers, the Raiders, Cincinnati can probably hang in there a little bit, but it wouldn't last to like the last playoff game the Buffalo Bills had. That was like the temperature of like 3 degrees. So not too many NFL teams are going to do too well in that environment. Like the only teams I could probably deal with it are probably Chicago, but that's in the NFC, or the Patriots, but they're rebuilding right now and adding more pieces. So as you can see, not too many teams can run through that Buffalo gauntlet and get through Buffalo in late January. So it's not easy at the same time. But if you look at that 5, I'm going to lean more towards Josh Allen, depending on what they do in the front office. If they don't get him the support he needs, then Patrick Mahomes can probably still linger around. But it also depends if Andy Reid's still going to be in the picture. If Andy Reid retires, then it's really harder on Patrick Mahomes to get that ball going. Sure, you can, make players who they are and try to be that type of quarterback. But at the same time, he's been around good talent for, the last 3 to 4 seasons. And those talent is going to start retiring and going somewhere else because salary cap reasons. So at the same time, I would say it's the battle of the front office. What can be replaced to keep these quarterback tenures going? But I have a feeling that Buffalo is going to try to keep pushing for that that Super Bowl appearance, because they were so close a year ago. And I think they just need a couple more pieces. And you could see Josh Allen turning into that Patrick Mahomes where he goes to a AFC championship game, a Super Bowl, AFC championship, and another Super Bowl like that in 4 seasons. I could see something like that happening in his career.
I think I don't know who made this MI6 comment. I think what they would have, because they have they have 1,322,000 in cap, so $1.3 million in cap. Either his deal is going to have to be in incentives like a less financial Antonio Brown situation, or he's gone. Not because he isn't a contributing player to a certain extent. I guarantee the defense has been kind of up and down, like we've all said and agreed to. But it would have to be an incentive type of contract. If you have less than $1.3 million against the cap, Chiefs carry over roughly $1.3 million. So practically, you literally have no money. So he either take an incentive type contract, and you're going to have to rework players' contracts this offseason or in 2023. Or sooner or later, you're going to have that separation of players.
And yikes, their defense is already bend, don't break. Imagine Tyrann Mathieu, their best player on defense, if he leaves this offseason. Oh my gosh, man, that defense will be middle of the pack, just straight up awful.
It's not like Tampa Bay where those players are just taking whatever to continue a Super Bowl run, which they have done. And you have a lot of those key players. Like they literally brought almost everybody back, and look where they are now in the divisional round, seeking almost another NFC championship game performance. So if the Chiefs want players to do that, I guess in theory it could work and they can continue that long stretch. But at the same time, you're fighting age and you're fighting players who may be a little bit more greedy and deserve say, hey, I got you guys to like these, 2 Super Bowl appearances and then maybe a possible third, and y'all not paying me. Because that's how some players in the NFL, sometimes act. But it's really going to depend if they're saying we want to keep winning rings or it's in it for the money and then I, just leave after that.
And if I'm a player, I guarantee I will never be a player. But if I'm a player and I got 2 or 3 Super Bowls and I won you 2, yeah, at that point, but you're not screwed. And then for me, it's about the money. I need to secure my financial future. But yeah, not everybody's going to take the Tom Brady route. And then they're wondering why that they don't have that many Super Bowls. Well, I mean, because of the Patriots way.
Because if you look at all those Patriots players, those contracts were so small, but you had basically 2 dynasties within the span of 2 decades with this Patriots team.
And Matthew's not going to do that as well because he's too prideful and his ego is like so big. So that he wants like top money.
Yeah. I guess it really depends. Like, does this, you could say Chiefs dynasty come to an end after the next 2 seasons?
Yes,
very possible, but I don't know.
I mean, you're not going to see. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, guarantee Kelsey isn't shown any signs of slowing down, but it's not going to be like a Delaney Walker or the tight end from San Diego who retired many years ago, but played for a very, very long time. I can't remember his name. So
Antonio Gates.
Gates.
Yes. He played for a very long time, so I understand. It would be tough for the Chiefs because, I mean, you don't have to take Tom Brady method or Patriots. I don't blame you, but if you don't have that many Super Bowls, then it's like that's the only way to do that. You cannot pay a player that much money, regardless of how good you are, and expect to get to that many Super Bowls in less than 20 years or 15 years because it's just not going to happen.
And I understand there's other teams out there in the league where we have, let's say, like Arizona, they stacked up, but now they've been eliminated from the playoffs. And at a certain point in time, your stacked team breaks down. I know that stacked team is probably on a time window as well. Same with Tampa Bay, but at the same time, you got to fill in the up and coming teams. Like the Chargers were built in organically, and they have all these key talent around Justin Herbert, and you could see that team potentially making a playoff run in the distant future if those players stay healthy and continue to add on to that, good team. You also have teams like the Denver Broncos as they get their pieces together. That's going to start, rising in the next couple of years. And then it just keeps adding on with Russell Wilson maybe going to a different team. Does that create another super team that is lying in wake that we don't even realize in the next coming off season? So we have to really see how that goes in. I know it's a little off topic, but at the same time, it kind of affects the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen argument, saying what players, go to those teams after some of these teams start to dismantle a little bit.
Exactly, because you're wondering how long can this team be that consistent? We can see a flash team. We talked about in the NBA, and it goes back to this topic because how long is Josh Allen going to be good? Well, it depends on what weapons you put around him and how many contracts you're able to keep together. And the same thing goes for the Chiefs, and that's what we're talking about back and forth. But I still say Josh Allen in the end. I mean, he's more physical, so he can handle more. But we'll have to see. If he can't ever beat Mahomes in a playoff game, then we need to end this debate right now. Because if he loses on this weekend, it's Mahomes. I'm sorry, but if you can't beat Mahomes, can't be the best, then you're not ever going to be the best.
Well, we'll see what happens because I know Joe Burrow is making, I would probably say, the Cinderella story for Cincinnati if he can beat Tennessee.
That's another team that's on the rise as well.
Mr. Joe Cool. Oh, yeah, he's doing great, man. I mean, I don't know where he's getting his sunglasses or cigars, but Joe Burrow, just hit me up and I'll see what kind of glasses and stuff you got because that's Mr. Joe Cool right there. That's my quarterback.
Because I don't think, Joe Burrow's going to have a tough challenge with Tennessee. But I know it's going to be a thrilling game to watch from start to finish. Kid you not.
Now, my two biggest issues, or I guess, is that the Bengals defense gave up about almost 22.5 points per game. Once you average out altogether and divide it per 17 games, 18 weeks. So I think, number one, you're going to have to be consistent in the rent. You got to make sure Tennessee's offense converts less than 45-50% in the red zone. Make them settle for field goals almost every time, if not every other drive. And if you can't do that, then you're basically screwed because you gave up almost 50 touchdowns as a team, as a defense.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be one of those key critical decisions. I know they're on the road playing in Tennessee. And obviously, I think Derrick Henry should be back in this game. So I don't know how much are the Titans going to actually rely on him. But we'll have to see what the game plan is going to be for Tennessee. Maybe I feel like they're going to start running that ball late in the game when they know it's secure. But at the same time, you don't want to take that risk and get him hurt. So just maybe a touch and go scenario. But if it's like a dire straight and the game is on the line, they're probably going to go all the way with him and just see what they can do to get to the AFC Championship game. With that,
sorry, my headphones disconnected. I think before we continue, I know we've been rambling on, but I think this is true. I think with Tennessee in this game, there's no way Ryan Tannehill is going to outthrow or outrun Joe Burrow. So the key really is being able to minimize that carrying. They can do that. The Bengals, this is their game.
It's going to come down to if the Bengals, and I know we're off topic, but it's going to come down to if the Bengals can stop Derrick Henry, especially late in the game, because Tennessee is just going to keep feeding that man the football if they have the lead. If the Bengals have the lead, then obviously they're going to be in a passing situation. But if the Titans have the lead, it's just going to be Derrick Henry run. And if the Bengals can't stop him, well, you might as well just pack your bags for Cancun right there.
Yep, it's very possible to see what happens, but it kind of almost leads into our next question. Is more of like which head coach is in the pressure to win the Super Bowl this season? It really is going to depend. I would say it's not coach-wise. I think it's more player-wise. So if I'm going player-wise, it got to be Aaron Rodgers. He's in the hot seat. I know he had a interesting start to the season and being a drama queen and all that stuff, but it's more of like, can you get it done? You've been getting to these NFC Championship games and only won one. You gotta do something. Are you able to get to the promised land, or are you just a quarterback that just was a one and done type of quarterback? Come on, man. I understand other quarterbacks like that didn't have the opportunity to get back to it, like Drew Brees, and they fell short and they had teams to do it. But you've been MVP more than those guys. So I'm going to go with Green Bay on this one. Got to get it done. If not, it's kind of disappointing to Aaron Rodgers' career. Only one Super Bowl appearance, and you have these MVPs and nothing much else to show for it.
I don't think MVP awards mean really anything anymore. It's like going to the Pro Bowl as a player. Like, do you honestly care about that like you used to? Probably not.
Isaiah, who you got?
In terms of coach remaining, I'm trying to think of the coaches remaining. So AFC side, you have Zach Taylor of the Bengals, you have Mike Vrabel of the Titans, you have Andy Reid of the Chiefs, and you have Sean McDermott. And then NFC, you have the three former Redskins staffers. You have the McVay, Shanahan, and LaFleur. And then I'm trying to remember the last one. Oh, Bruce Arians. In terms of the coach that is under the most pressure, I would say, to win a Super Bowl, it's got to be Sean McVay of the Rams, no doubt, because the Rams built a super team. They got Matthew Stafford. They got the quarterback that Sean McVay was quote unquote missing, that high elite quarterback. Sean McVay doesn't have any more excuses. If he falters in the postseason, like if he can't even get to the NFC Championship game this year, it's going to be a major disappointment for the Los Angeles Rams. And Sean McVay, he's been in the Super Bowl already, but he lost. He only scored 3 points in that game against the Patriots defense, which at that time, the Patriots defense, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's their offense is so great, but their defense is going to be the reason why that game is going to be a shootout, and you only put up 3 points against that Patriots defense. We gave you a pass there because you had Jared Goff as your quarterback. Well, now you have Matthew Stafford. You have Matthew Stafford. You got Odell. You have Sony Michel. I know Robert Woods is missing, but still, that Rams offense is super electric. They're super potent. The defense, Aaron Donald's there, Ramsey's there. You don't have any excuse. This is a super team in LA. You have to win it this year. So you have to get it done. There's no excuses for Sean McVay anymore to not be able to get it done. If he doesn't get it done this season, then he's going to be one of those coaches that everybody is going to call a quote-unquote fake genius. Yes, he's a great coach in the regular season, but when it matters the most in the postseason, he just can't get it done. So for me, Sean McVay of the Rams.
I think it's very tough to say. I do agree with you. That's going to be critical, but they just got Matthew Stafford this year. So I'm going to be a little bit more lenient on it. Yes, they got all these weapons to do it and go for a Super Bowl appearance, but they're facing Tampa Bay, and they brought everybody back. So this is a true battle-hearted test to get through, and they probably are hoping that the 49ers cause an upset in Green Bay. They're just praying for that, so they have a better chance of getting to that Super Bowl. But I know Aaron Rodgers is probably not going to let that happen. And he remember the time, I think later in the year, the 49ers were giving the Green Bay Packers a run for their money, but gave Aaron Rodgers too much time left on the clock and basically did a game-winning drive to put that game away. So I know the 49ers are going to learn from that mistake and make sure there's not enough time for Aaron Rodgers to get down that field to get a game-winning field goal or a game-winning touchdown in that scenario.
Well, when you look at the coaches, right, that are remaining in the playoffs, obviously I said what I had to say about McVay. I think LaFleur probably is second on that list because, if Green Bay gets bounced out in the divisional round, their first playoff game, I could see a John Fox Denver situation where he gets bounced out after having so much expectations and he gets fired after just getting bounced out in the first round. Look at John Fox. He got bounced out of the first in the divisional round after they had a bye. I believe in Peyton Manning's first or second year. And then, he got fired because he just couldn't get over the hump. So LaFleur, I would say, is second. And then when you look at the other coaches, I probably have to put McDermott number 3. Bruce Arians probably 4th because the media, if they can't win it, I know they won it last year, but the media is just gonna be, oh my God, Bruce Arians, he's a bad coach and all of that stuff. And then the other ones, Vrabel, he's had a great season. Nobody expected them to get the number 1 seed, and I would say number 6. And I'm not being biased here; it's the truth. But how can you say that like Kyle Shanahan is under any pressure? Because the Niners weren't even supposed to make the playoffs, and they not only made the playoffs this year, but they beat the Dallas Cowboys, who were the number 3 seed, and they upset them in the divisional round. So the Niners have already surpassed all expectations. So for me, it's got to be McVay and then potentially LaFleur.
And John, I know you said Green Bay, but is there any other ones that you have?
Oh, I didn't. What I would say for these, I think number one, it would have to be McVay. Like I agree with Isaiah here. It's sooner or later you got to be able to get to the big game, and I don't give you any grace room or any excuses. Okay, you got me out to separate last year, but you had the team. You definitely failed with drafting Jared Goff, but this is your year. If you don't get it this year, if you don't get to at least the NFC Championship game, then you're screwed. But the last one I would have to say is Green Bay. Because I think if they lose in the division round, Rodgers is gone. They don't win it this year. Listen to some of his demands, quote unquote. You built a better relationship, but I think if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're gone after this year if they lose in this division round. The Buffalo Bills are not under; they're under a lot of pressure, but I think they have a little bit more wiggle room versus the Tennessee or Sean McVay, where they were in the Super Bowl 3 years ago, and if they don't get this year, next year, it's almost like you're the biggest what if head coach in NFL history.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know we put some good time and topics into the NFL and college football. We'll dabble a little bit in the NFL, well, not NFL, NBA, and before that, then we'll go into our pick'em. So Isaiah, I know the Lakers had a tough run with the Pacers, blew a 15-point lead. I kind of leave it up to you because me and John probably don't really need to give you that much because I know you want to put your 2 cents into it. So I'll let you go for your Lakers, and then we'll go into pick'ems. Is that all right, gentlemen?
Perfect. How about the Lakers?
The question for this topic was what was your reaction to Russell Westbrook getting benched, because he literally got benched for from the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter until the end of the game. And then he apparently after the game in the locker room just showered quickly, took all of his stuff, left without even saying anything to his teammates, coaches, and declined to speak to the media and just stormed off after the game. And what was this rock bottom for the Lakers? And I'm gonna go with the first question first about Westbrook. I know everybody's making a big deal about it, Westbrook getting benched. I was shocked that Frank Vogel actually had the guts to pull the trigger and actually benched him, because not only was he 5 of 17 shooting from the field when it came to last night's game, but you could see the effort wasn't there on defense. There was a play where Karis LeVert, the scouting report specifically said, push him to his left hand. This guy sucks when it comes to going to the left side, and Westbrook somehow takes the left side away, lets him go to his dominant hand to the right side, and he blows by him, layup, easy there, and Frank Vogel takes him out afterwards. And there was another one where Westbrook bricks a shot, he misses the shot, and he doesn't even run back on defense. This is exactly what I was talking about with the Los Angeles Lakers. This is exactly why I said to Trevor, John, Callan, and everybody else that I'm not going to watch a single Lakers game again until this team shows me effort, they show me heart, they show me fight, they show me passion, and they actually hustle, and they actually show me that they want to do the little things that is necessary to win. That play right there by Russell Westbrook. Oh, I missed a shot. I'm so pissed off. I missed one of my 17 shots. I'm not going to run back on defense. This is what I've been watching all season long for the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron misses a shot. Oh, okay, I'm not going to run back. I'm just going to stand over here with my hands behind my back and just take a breath. Take a breath. Anthony Davis, same thing. Miss a shot or miss a dunk. I'm just going to sit back here sit back on the other side of the court, just stand up, hands behind my back, and just stare. What are you doing? You guys are future Hall of Famers. You're superstars. You're supposed to be setting an example for this team, and you do the worst things possible for this ball club. The guys that are actually showing hustle, showing the fight, diving for loose balls, showing the passion. The guys that are doing that? Stanley Johnson, who was cut by the Raptors, the lowly Raptors. He was cut by the Raptors. He's on a 10-day contract. He's trying to get another contract with the Los Angeles Lakers or get another contract with another team. He's the one's hustling. Austin Reeves, who's a rookie, he's the guy that's diving for loose balls. He's the guy that's playing for defense. He's the guy that's running back. He's the guy that's drawing charges. He's a rookie, and he's doing all of that stuff. Malik Monk, he's doing that as well. It's all the young guys that are just that you don't expect. You expect them to look up to the veterans, and the veterans are the ones that, oh, we're just going to stand here and we're just going to put our arms behind our backs and we're just going to watch the show. Like, we're out here in the audience watching the Emmy Awards or watching the Golden Globes or watching Betty White on Golden Girls. Like, what are you even doing, man? You're playing basketball. This is not, oh, we're just going to stand on one side of the court and, let our rookies play 3-on-5. It's just so disgusting, man. So I'm actually glad that Frank Vogel benched Russell Westbrook because you need to set an example. These are veterans. These are Hall of Famers. They've been in the league for 10, 15 years. And for them to be doing things that a lot of rookies do, it's unacceptable, man. It's really unacceptable. Not hustling on defense. When they teach you when you're a young kid, even if you miss a shot, so what? You have to run back. When you're a young kid and you're playing basketball, you don't run back, guess what? You're getting yanked by the coach off the court and probably getting chewed out on the sidelines. And now these vets are doing the same thing. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. This is exactly why I am not watching another Lakers game until this team shows me heart. It shows me hustle. Exactly. Like James says, the younger players on this team seems hungrier than the younger teams seems hungrier than the Lakers. Exactly. The younger players on the Lakers themselves seem hungrier than all these established veterans. Like all these established veterans just think that, we're established veterans. We've been in the league for 10, 15 years. We have all these accolades. We have all these gold medals, NBA championships, all that stuff. The NBA is just going to give us another championship. That's not how it works, man. You have to work for it. You have to hustle. You have to play with passion. You have to fight. You have to do the little things to win, and you're not doing that right now. That's why the Lakers suck, and that's why they're losing right now. So I'm so glad that Russell Westbrook got benched. I don't care that Russell Westbrook stormed off. I mean, go ahead and storm off. Go ahead and storm off the court and not talk to your teammates and, probably go to management and try to get Frank Vogel fired. Go ahead because, you're doing something that G League players wouldn't even want to do. That's how embarrassing it is. So that's my thoughts on the Westbrook benching. And my thoughts on, is this rock bottom for the Lakers? Of course it is. There's been so many times where this season where you're like, oh, this is rock bottom, or oh, this is rock bottom. But this is truly rock bottom for the Los Angeles Lakers. You got players not hustling. Frank Vogel is quote unquote on the hot seat. His seat is sizzling hot. But if you fire him, I think it's going to be truly unfair because he's on the sidelines, clapping his hands and coaching up the team. He's not on the court playing. Like I said earlier, you're talking about 10, 15-year veterans that are out there acting like a bunch of entitled brats. It's just so sickening to watch. It's just so embarrassing to watch when the young rookies have more heart than these veterans. Like, if you don't want to put in the work, if you don't want to have any heart to play the game, and if you don't want to hustle, then retire, LeBron. Retire, Carmelo Anthony. Retire, Russell Westbrook. Retire already if you don't want to do it. You're playing basketball, man. If you want to do what you're doing right now, go play golf. Go to the near Los Angeles golf course and play golf. We don't need you on this basketball team. It's just so damn sickening. It is rock bottom. I don't think Frank Vogel should be fired. I think what he should do is do what he did with Russell Westbrook. If you're not going to hustle, if you're not going to play defense, if you're not going to dive for loose balls, if you're not going to do any of that stuff, well, I'm going to yank you off the court and you're not going to play again until you show me hustle. That's what the Lakers have to do. I don't care if they are 10 to 15-year vets. That's what the Lakers have to do. Play the guys that actually that want to play this basketball game and actually want to give their full-on effort and actually compete, because right now the vets are not doing it. And if I'm the Lakers, the last point I will make is this. It hurts me to say this. because I wanted him on the Lakers for a long time. And Trevor, you know how excited I was when Anthony Davis first became a Los Angeles Laker. But I think if you're the Los Angeles Lakers right now, I would call up the Boston Celtics and trade Anthony Davis for Jason Tatum. Because right now, when you look at it, two players, one's hurt, the other one's super inconsistent. Jason Tatum's having his worst season of his NBA career. And also, the Celtics stink. The Lakers stink. Both players look like they need a change of scenery. Why not do it? Plus, you get a wing better than a big. We know big men don't really impact the game that much now. Tatum, he's always wanted to be a Laker. Maybe he'll actually play fired up instead of Anthony Davis, who hasn't looked fired up ever since he won a championship. That's what I would do if I'm the Lakers. I would strongly consider pulling a trigger on a Tatum AD type of a deal. I don't know if the Celtics would do that. I know the contracts would match up, but I would do that if I'm the Lakers. I would call up Boston, offer Anthony Davis, and pull a trade for Jason Tatum, because you need to make a move now. Because with the team that you have right now, they're 23-24, I believe. I think that's the record. It's just not working, man. It's not working. It's not fitting. You're already halfway through the season. We've seen enough. Pull the plug, make a big move, shake it up.
Two things I'll say before we continue on, because I don't have much to say, because I could care less about the Los Angeles LeBron. Two things, as we've seen, every team LeBron goes on, right before he asks for players to be traded, there's always drama. It's always about LeBron. Two, Isaiah, I told you so. We tried to tell everybody. Russell Westbrook is a clown. He is like he just throws temper tantrums. And this is the thing he's done for most of his career. And I don't know why people are surprised. But, hey, it's the Los Angeles LeBron, not the Los Angeles Lakers, apparently.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to our pigskin pick'ems. All right, gentlemen, we got some 4 pigskin pick'ems with us today. We got I'll let you read that comment, Isaiah.
Ishmael hit the nail on the head. It truly is embarrassing that Austin Reeves, a rookie, is putting in more effort than LeBron, Carmelo, and Russ.
And with that comment, ladies and gentlemen, we can move on to our pigskin pick'ems. So we got 4 good games, or the NFL divisional round games. We got the Bengals, Titans, Niners, Packers, Bills, Chiefs, and Rams, Buccaneers. I already made my picks for the Rams and Buccaneers and the Chiefs and Bills, so you don't have to listen to my picks on those, because you can tune into 6 for 6 on that. So listen to last night's episode for that to get my 2 picks on that. So I will only be doing 2 picks tonight, and everybody else here on the panel will be doing 4 picks. So Bengals, Titans is where we're going to start off. Who you got in this one? I'll go to John. Who you got, Bengals or Titans?
Mr. Joe Cool, just get ready for the ACC. No, I'm not going to pull this out. It's going to be a close game. Like you said, the biggest issue, obviously, is that defense. And literally giving up nearly 40-plus touchdowns this year is going to be an issue. And you're going to have to limit Derrick Henry as a team, especially in the red zone. So if they can limit him in the red zone, I think they have a good chance, because Ryan Tannehill's not going to outplay Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. I mean, just seeing the numbers, if he played truly, he nearly threw for 5,000 yards, nearly 34, 35 touchdowns in his second year, first official full season starting. So I think Bengals to win by at least 6-7 points, but it's definitely a huge, scary one.
And Isaiah, who you got in this one? Who I got in this one between the Titans and the Bengals? Well, I'm wearing orange right now.
Don't dare.
That should be, a strong indication of who I'm going for. But no. I'm just kidding. But
it's not funny. No.
And also, don't worry, John. I was listening to the Eye of the Tiger as well before the show. When I was trying to decide on my pick. But then I saw a little commercial to the side of the song that I was listening to on Spotify, and it showed some Marvel Adventures characters, and I was like, I gotta go with the Rise of the Titans. Give me the Tennessee
Isaiah,
Titans
Isaiah,
to
the
win.
Rise of the Titan has nothing to do with the Avengers, so I don't know exactly what you're talking about at all.
Hey, I tried to put into the pieces Titans, Marvel, it just seemed right. But give
No,
me the Tennessee Titans in this game. I don't trust both of these two teams' defenses. I think that the Bengals defense is not that good. The Titans defense, they're not that good. So I think we're going to see a high scoring game. And I think that, like I said earlier, it's going to come down to, can the Bengals stop the Titans late, especially when they're running the football like crazy, since I think the Titans will have the lead and they're just going to keep force feeding Derrick Henry. And if you can't stop him, well, pack your bags. You're going to Cancun.
With my pick, I'll make it brief because I know we're running close to that hour mark on tonight's program. So with this game, the question is going to be a lot. Is it going to be enough time left on the clock for Joe Burrow to make the game-winning drive to seal the deal? That's basically how it is. If they can't stop Derrick Henry, I don't think there's going to be enough time and the Titans will win. But if there's enough time on the clock, I think Joe Burrow can make a 2-minute, game-winning drive and win the game for Cincinnati. He has the capability to do it. It just is how much time does he have left and where is he on the field to do it? That's where I'm going to stand. If there's not enough time, I'm going to go with the Titans. And the next game, we got Niners and Packers. I'm going to do my pick. It's Aaron Rodgers, make or bust. He got to come up and show up. 49ers have been lucky. They come out, on fire, but they start out slow. It's going to be a brutal game. And you don't want to be caught in a dogfight with, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Isaiah, who you got?
Sorry about that. I was having some technical issues on my end. But in terms of this game, when I think about this game, the reason why, as a Niners fan, me personally, I wanted Green Bay because I think stylistically we match up well with the Green Bay Packers, since all of the Niners typically have success running the Kyle Shanahan style of offense. So for me, give me the 49ers to win this football game. We are going to shred some cheese out there at cold, frigid Lambeau Field. The reason why I'm picking the Niners is this: conditions. The conditions play into the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. I know there's people out there saying, oh, people in California can't handle 2-degree weather, which is going to be the temperature at kickoff for that game. It's going to be 2 degrees, wind chill, I believe -10, something like that. It might be, I think it's the second coldest game in Lambeau history when it comes to the playoffs. And it just works in the Niners' favor because the Niners, what are they good at? Being physical, pounding the football, running it like heck, and also playing great defense. Bosa's coming back. Kyle Shanahan has already said that he's looking good to go. Fred Warner was a full participant in practice. He's looking like he's good to go. So it looks like the Niner entire defensive line is going to be ready to harass Aaron Rodgers. The Niners, I think what they're going to do is play time of possession. Do what they did against the Rams on that Monday night. Just run the football like crazy. Use the time of possession. Keep Aaron Rodgers freezing on the sidelines. And then, once you get into the red zone, you got to punch it in, because if you have those 10, 15-minute long drives and you kick field goals, that's not going to cut it. You got to punch it in. I think the Niners will, and I think the Niners defense, they're going to get after Aaron Rodgers. I think we're going to see – it's not going to be a repeat of the NFC Championship game 2 years ago from Levi Stadium, but I think it's going to be like 27 to 17 San Francisco.
John, who you got?
First of all, the weather thing, that doesn't really make any sense, Isaiah, because Green Bay, it gets really cold up there. So I'm not sure how. But I think I hate to say this, just makes me kind of sick, because I think like Isaiah's going to give like, oh my gosh, John, I can't believe you said that. But I picked the Niners. I think, I'm not saying it's going to be a repeat of 2020. I just think that defensive line, first of all, Green Bay, you can say whatever, they're improving on defense, but they're nowhere. Oh, hush, calm down. It's only the defense. But if they lose this game, it's gonna be because of Jimmy Garoppolo and his boneheaded turnovers.
Fair enough. As Isaiah wanders off the set and before he comes back down to planet Earth, I'll go to the next game. We got Bills and Chiefs, and I'll go to John. Who you got in this one? We talked about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and now they're live in action yet again. Who you got in this one?
I picked Buffalo to win a really close game. I just think defense-wise it's Buffalo, but Josh Allen's more physical. And there's more pressure, obviously, at the end. Most people could agree there's more pressure for Josh Allen to win this game than it is Mahomes. Mahomes has already been to 2 Super Bowls, so he already won a Super Bowl. Josh Allen and this team has had a history of going 0-4 in the Super Bowl, so there's more pressure on Josh Allen and the Bills. So I picked him to win this game, but I'm not sure by how much.
Isaiah, who you got in this one? Bills or Chiefs?
Give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game. The reason why is because teams that lost earlier are always hungrier. And when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, yes, I know the Bills just stomped them in Arrowhead Stadium like in October this season on Sunday Night Football, but the Bills want revenge. They've been wanting revenge since last year's AFC Championship game where the Chiefs completely stomped them. The Chiefs defense, bend, don't break. Like I said, you can bend so long, eventually you're going to break, and they're going to play Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen will torch that Chiefs defense. And I think that what's going to happen is Mahomes, he's going to be the usual Mahomes, but there's going to be certain plays where he's going to throw a couple picks and the Bills are going to capitalize. So give me Buffalo in this game to go to the AFC Championship.
All right, and the final pigskin pick'ems for the night, ladies and gentlemen. We got Rams and Buccaneers. John, who you got? Do you believe in Matthew Stafford to beat the legendary Tom Brady, or will Tom Brady march on to another, NFC championship game?
I don't know why people haven't learned their lesson. How are you going to bet against Tom Brady in this game? There's always there's an injury to the offensive line. Well, that was an issue going to the 2020 season. The injuries, the offensive line, we're not really too sure how they're going to do. And they won a Super Bowl. Yes, they have a set roster. Nobody's denying that. But I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. I mean, you still have Tom Brady. You still have weapons. And I don't know how anybody would count Tom Brady. You're literally giving them fuel to the fire, which apparently nobody has learned in the past 21 years. You cannot give Tom Brady any edge at all.
And Isaiah, who do you got? Rams or Buccaneers?
Man, give me the loss.
What the heck was that?
I was trying to imitate a ram.
It sounded like a sheep. I don't know.
Isaiah, what was that? That's getting clipped. What is that?
Isn't a ram and a sheep like the same thing pretty much?
No.
No.
See, this is what happens when I get like 11 hours of sleep, man. But
a lot of sleep. Even I can't get that. It's being clipped as we speak on my phone, so you're welcome.
Man, that was bad. I think we're all still recovering from that. That's bad.
So I guess. So your pick is the Rams with this.
Yes, give me the Rams to win this game because the defense is going to prevail. Defense wins championships. The Rams have a better defense than the Buccaneers. I think the Rams defense is they're going to bend, but they're not going to break. They're going to, and I'm reading James's comment right now, but they're going to hold Brady and the Bucs out of the end zone. They're going to get the field goals while the Rams are going to get their touchdowns. So give me the Rams to win this football game.
I'll just bring up the comment. He was enjoying the show until that noise. Now his ears hate him. We'll probably need to put a sound warning somewhere in the video to give people a heads up
That's the thing
for
is
it.
how we didn't know it was gonna happen. So that's like, how do you put a warning? I don't know. It's just okay. It's now clipped, Isaiah. It's me right here.
I know Callum McClurg is probably just gonna make like a GIF now of that or whatever thing that happened.
And with that, gentlemen, we'll move on to our Power 5.
Персональный спутник.
Yeah, Isaiah, I don't know how you came up with this Power 5. I think
What
you
is
just
it?
came down and just jotted it down and you just went with it. But you have a good reasoning behind it. But I just can't think of 5 good responses to solidify. I can only come up with 2.
Well, how about this? I'll go first.
But I'll say
What
it.
is it?
So
What is it?
since National Pie Day is 3 days away.
What?
But Isaiah, how do you get National Pie Day when the true Pie Day is in March?
Well, yeah, the true pie. So there's 2 pie days. There's the regular pie day, and then there's like a national pie day. I don't know like about these holidays. I just went on I just searched up on Google what is the holiday of today, because there's every day there's like some type of weird holiday going around. Like I guess today was also National Cheese Lover Days or something like that. And I just saw like National Pie Day, and I was like, we've done desserts in the past. We've done cakes as well. And I went back to watch some of the episodes of No B.S. from prior, but we've actually never done a top 5 pies.
Because we probably couldn't come up with 5 good pies.
Hey, this is not a Golden Girls podcast. This is a sports podcast here. Why are we talking pie?
Because it's the Power 5. It's like a little switch.
I know me and John probably don't have a list, so we'll just let you run your list.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you had 2 though. I thought you had.
The only 2 I could think of is apple pie and pumpkin pie.
I'll think of. I got some, and they're not going to be in any particular order because I didn't know what the Power 5 was. Because this doesn't make any. Number one, I still say it's between. I would say chocolate and apple, like warm apple pie though. Not some like store bought, like that's good. 3 though, I would have to pick cherry. Another one would have to be it's a cobbler pie, okay? It's whatever, it's the same. And 5 though, and I don't know because I don't understand this Power 5. Like I'll just say pumpkin just to get it over with.
Okay, and Isaiah, what is your list so we can bring tonight to a close?
All right. For me, you guys know I'm a huge pie fan, so I love me some pies. Number 5 on this list, it's gotta be the I forgot what it's called, but it's the chocolate pie, because chocolate cream pie. It's such a great pie. It's when some of the stores that have it, it's like you're eating chocolate pudding or chocolate ice cream when you're eating that pie. So it's like super delicious. That's number 5 for me. Number 4 on this list for me, it's gotta be. Oh, it's simple. It's gotta be the strawberry and cream pie. And I had this pie, went to Montana, had this pie. There was a specific store in Montana where they have fresh strawberries and then whipped cream, and then it's like the pie crust. So it's like super delicious. Definitely recommend all of you guys to go try it. That's number 4. Number 3 on this list, the guava pie. You guys know I'm from Hawaii. I love me some guava. Anything that has guava in it, it's amazing. The guava pie. McDonald's actually has it in Fremont here. They had it in San Diego. They brought it to the Bay Area. I love it. I love it. I always get it with a cup of coffee. It's so good. Recommend you guys to try it if you guys have it where you guys are living at. Number 2, it's got to be the apple pie. You know, the old-fashioned apple pie. Me personally, I like the apple pie, the Dutch apple pie, because you got, you know, the crumbs on the top, and then you got the apple. It's so good. And last but not least, I think you guys know where I'm going with it. It's the pumpkin pie. Like I said, it's got to be the Costco pumpkin pie, though. It cannot be like the Walmart one, the Safeway one, or some other like company's pumpkin pie. The Costco pumpkin pie, in my opinion, is the best pumpkin pie on the world. It's not too sweet. It's not too bitter or salty. It's not too runny. It's just perfect condition. And you know, the pumpkin pie, for me, I love it. You know, like I told you guys in the past, I could eat, if I was stranded on an island and there was one food that, you know, you could just pick and you had to eat that 365 days, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's the Costco pumpkin pie. That's it. It's going to be Costco pumpkin pie, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day.
And James says, do you know the first name at your local McDonald's, Isaiah?
Do they know your name, Isaiah?
No, they actually don't. I don't think they do, but they just know me by face at this point.
Oh, cool.
It'd be like, yes. And then James's comment for his Power 5 is apple, banana cream, pumpkin, and Frito and cherry.
What's a Frito pie?
Yeah.
Anybody know?
Yeah.
That's the regular. That's the one with like the chips and the.
Okay.
I think that's what he's talking about right there.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. I got it. I'm looking at it right now. It's like a Mexican Frito. Okay, I got it. Okay.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to our final thoughts. Well, we already broke that New Year's resolution, and we're already doing so poorly. We're over an hour. We're almost an hour 15. But, gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts? I'll go to Isaiah. Final thoughts.
Yes, final thoughts is it was a great show. I'm sorry to all the people that watched the show for the bad type of sound effect that I did earlier in the show. Hopefully that didn't hurt your ears and scare your dogs and cats away by me doing that. But, you know, it was a great show, another great episode of No BS. Make sure you guys tune in tonight for Kicking It with Isaiah and Ace. It's going to be a great show as well. We've got a lot of great topics, a lot of great guests, and most importantly, Callum McClurry's not going to be on, so I'm going to finally win another edition of trivia for the first time in like a month or two. So that's going to be great. But great show, and once again, I'll keep saying it to the Hawaii Athletic Director, hire June Jones.
And John, your final thoughts for tonight's program.
It was a good one. I didn't think we were doing pretty good. Didn't have any Higgins moments, but unfortunately there was one towards the end with, I don't know what that was, but it was a good show. Just happy to be on.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for tonight's program. Glad to have everyone tuning in. We had a great, fantastic program for you all tonight. Can't wait to see what we come up with next week on next week's episode of No BS, as well as other MI6 programs. But that will do it for tonight's program. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend as well. And so long for now. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah. 3-6, mafia.
Yeah. Whoa. Hey. Yeah. Whoa. Say what? Hey. Whoa. 3-6, mafia. Hey. It's going down. Whoa. Y'all know what time it is.